Hi guys! So today I'm going to be talking about bipolar disorder. Before I get started, there are many different types of bipolar. Okay, there's bipolar 1, bipolar 2, there's rapid cycling, there's cyclothymia, I think there's dysthymia. I'm not too sure about that one. But I am primarily going to be talking about bipolar 1 with rapid cycling, as that is what moi has. So let's rewind a good couple of years. When I was about 10-11 years old, I started to display really bad behavioural symptoms. I walk at lessons, I get really irritated, get really angry, and I think that was the sort of start of my mental health issues. And I was in so much trouble in school. I was always in trouble because I would either walk out of lessons if I got anxious, or I would get really irritated and I'd start backchatting teachers, and I wasn't in a good frame of mind for school. But when I was about 13-14 years old, I noticed these mood swings where I go like up, down, middle, up, down, middle. And that's when I really started to do research into it, and I did a lot of research, like a lot. And that's when I knew in the back of my head that I was bipolar. Now in the UK we have CAMS, which stands for Child Adolescent Mental Health Services, and in my opinion they are pretty poor. And they weren't looking into it further. They said, oh, it's just teenage hormones and you're fine, absolutely fine, just go on with your life. But I was onto them for 8 years, and within that time they diagnosed me with so many different psychiatric disorders, like, oh, it could be this, it could be that, and I'm just like, can you make up your mind, please? But when I changed services, I went to a different psychiatrist, and they were like, well, these mood swings, they aren't normal. And I was like, yeah, I sort of know that. And she went, well, you have bipolar 1 with rapid cycling. And for me, it was more of a reassurance. I felt reassured because I've been going through these mood swings for so long, and I finally had that diagnosis. And I don't know, it felt weird because I knew that I had it, back when I was 13-14. But then being told that you have it, it's different. She wanted to start me on medication. I was originally starting on quetiapine, I think that's how you say it. But I was weaned off that because I started having side effects. And I am on, at the moment, 800 milligrams of carbamazepine, and I'm also on lithium. Lithium is a bit of a dodgy one with carbamazepine, so I don't know what the psychiatrists are thinking, but when you mix carbamazepine and lithium, you can have really bad side effects with your liver. So I have to have weekly blood tests just to make sure that nothing's, going on in my body. I'm not gonna keel over and die. And I think they're also planning to add an antipsychotic and an antidepressant in when they've got the right levels of lithium in my blood. So it's a bit of statistic time. Everyone loves a bit of statistics. I love statistics. So 1 to 2% of the population have bipolar, which doesn't seem a lot, but it is. It's a huge amount of people. That's millions of people. So if you're watching this video and you have bipolar, just know that you're not alone. Okay, you're not alone. There's millions of people out there who have exactly the same as you, and you can reach out for support. And I will also put links down if you need any support with bipolar, any websites, any, phone lines, etc. And also in the UK it takes an average of 10.5 years to get the correct diagnosis of bipolar. And that is shocking. That really is shocking. I thought it was just my case, and I looked at the statistic, I was like, oh my gosh, it's terrible, because when you're living bipolar, it's hell. And then it takes an average of 10.5 years. Are you kidding me? It is dreadful. And unfortunately, bipolar is one of those ones where psychiatrists, like, it's like they don't want to diagnose you with it for some reason. I'm not sure why, but hell, I'm not a psychiatrist. If you're a psychiatrist out there, please tell me, please. But there are different ways to treat bipolar. So there's like CBT, yeah, CBT. There's DBT. Oh, I've got all the T's in here. There's medication, there's group therapy, and I think medication is the one which really helps, because you need all those chemicals in your brains to be balanced out for you to even be focused on therapy. And I'm going to be talking about rapid cycling and my usual sort of, I'm doing that thing with my mouth again, look, with my usual mood swings. Oh, actually it's quite cool. So bit of booby action. So I have normally about 2 weeks of mania, but in the summer it can be around 6, 7, 8 weeks. I don't know really why. I can't talk today. I don't really know why. I think it's due to the sun, because I love the sun. Actually affects mania. So when I'm manic, I am like a whole different person. I actually have a list of things that I did on my last manic episode here. So I was on the roof talking to a squirrel, because in my mind I was like, oh my gosh, this squirrel has all the answers. And I know how bizarre that sounds to a different person, but when you're manic, it's like you have a different brain. I thought I could run a marathon in an hour, which you really can't. But I truly believed I could, and I actually ran off from my partner, and I was like, I'm gonna do this marathon right now, and I ran off. I was like, bye bye. I wanted to rewrite the Bible, and a lot of my manic symptoms are to do with religion. I don't really know why, because I'm not religious in any aspect. But a more common occurrence is that I believe I'm God. Quite literally believe I'm God. And yeah, so that's a bit of a difficult one to get over. I believe I could cure cancer and stop world poverty. And if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, they're all good things, they're great, but when you truly believe that in your head, it's not, because it's people around you, you know, you're completely psychotic, and people around you are like, oh, how do I deal with this? You know, I live with my partner, and he didn't know how to deal with it, because I was off my head. I wanted to climb up the window and talk to my friend, the squirrel. And how do you deal with that at all? And I think what's really important for people to understand, that when you're manic, you truly believe these things. It's not like an idea, you truly believe it. And then I have a period of normal. So I'm normal for about a week. Times it's been a couple of weeks, even months. And then you go into the depressive state. You don't want to do anything. You're not motivated to do anything. You feel sad, you self-harm, you try to kill yourself, you don't want to eat, your sleeping's bad. And in a way, it's also reassuring, because you know that, well, when you're depressed, you're kind of going to come out of it. But when you're in that state, you don't see it that way, okay? And for a long time, I've wanted a quick fix. I want to take one medication, that's it. I want to be fixed. But unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. And I'm still now trying to figure out, how do I deal with it? You know, I've recently had to be signed off sick for work, and that's really hard for me, because I feel like I'm not good enough anymore. This illness is taking over me. And that's really difficult, because you don't want to feel like that in life. and I'm trying to get myself back on track, and I don't know how to. So if anyone has any suggestions actually how to get over these episodes, it would be greatly appreciated, because it really is a struggle. It really is a struggle. Another thing that I wanted to say is that with medication, I've had a couple of people on my Instagram message me saying, oh well, this medication didn't work for me, and so I sort of gave up in a way. And I wanted to say that's what I did. I was on quetiapine, carbamazepine, and it didn't work, and that's it. I gave up. I was like, do you know what, I'm not doing it anymore. Obviously I'm not going to get better, that is it. And I eventually began to speak to different psychiatrists, and it was actually me who suggested lithium, because in my head I realised that if one medication doesn't work, that's okay, because there is loads and loads of different medications out there which you can try. One medication doesn't work for everyone, because everyone's bipolar, everyone's mood swings are different. So what I'm really trying to say, if one medication doesn't work, please try a different one. Change psychiatrists if you can. Just try anything, because eventually it will get better, you know. And for me, I'm sort of at a point in the moment where my psychiatrist was suggesting hospitalisation, and it was something that I'm really against, because I've been in psychiatric hospitals before. It didn't help, and so I'm just trying to avoid that at the moment. Yeah. But I know that for some people the bipolar is under control, and that is absolutely fantastic. I mean, that's amazing, right? But if anyone has any questions about bipolar, you know, feel free to message me anytime, because like I said before, I have no life, literally no life. And disclaimer, let's do a bit of a disclaimer. Just because you may have some of these symptoms that I have talked about, it doesn't mean that you may be bipolar. There are lots of different mood disorders out there, such as depression, cyclothymia, or borderline personality disorder. So please don't watch this video and try to self-diagnose yourself. If you truly believe that you have bipolar, then talk to your doctor, therapist, and they can do a proper assessment. Okay, and if you do have bipolar, you're newly diagnosed, then it does get better. Bye.